Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, school improvements consolidation, a special meeting about your tax dollars.
More than a year without a local DPS service, the new timeline for reopening.
And a federal judge steps into a heated dispute over food assistance programs, the Trump administration threat that sparked a lawsuit.
Well, we had some nice sunshine today, but tomorrow the clouds roll back in and we start picking up drizzle. In fact, by Thursday, we could see some big storms. We'll have all that coming up in a moment.
And 3 of your Victoria schools in St. Joe, West, and East were all in action tonight on the hardwood. See the results of their games coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shawna Currie.
And I'm Brubaker. The City of Victoria completed their extensive search for a company to take on the Community Center Update project, but now that project may be delayed. City Manager Jesus Garza says the city had a new grading system emphasizing how much the companies bought local materials and how familiar they were with the area. That led management to recommend logger companies as the contractor. But Garza says the search may have pushed back their project about a month to a month and a half. The next steps, which involve logger being a part of the design process, won't be brought back to council until early next year. Garza says their original proposal to begin construction in March is not likely at this point.
Victoria ISD is holding a special board meeting to talk about a proposed bond package. District officials say the bond could bring much needed improvements to schools across the district while saving money. The district started the process by hiring an architect to come up with an estimate of needed repairs and upgrades throughout the district. Fixing aging campuses and the possibility of consolidating some schools to better serve students will be talked about at the meeting.
Our 2010 schools, which are East, West, Cade, Shalimar, Taurus, and the Fine Arts Center, those campuses are now and facilities are now 15 years old and need upgrades, HVAC, plumbing, and several other areas.
Superintendent Collazo says the bond issue could go in front of voters in May 2026. The bond committee meets Thursday at 5:30 p.m. in the Victoria ISD Administration Building, and the public is invited to attend.
State officials have a better timeline of when the Victoria DPS driver license office will reopen. The office has been closed for more than a year for a $327,000 mold remediation project. State officials now say repairs are expected to be finished early next year. For in-person services, DPS is directing people to the Port Lavaca or Cuero offices where Victoria staff are helping. You can schedule an appointment online or by calling DPS customer service.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is holding a public meeting in Port Lavaca on their proposal to widen and deepen the Matagorda Ship Channel. Working with the Calhoun Port Authority, the goal is to make the port run more efficiently, cut transportation costs, and make the channel safer for ships. Officials also say the project would help strengthen national security. The meeting is tomorrow night from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Bauer Community Center. Public comments will be accepted by the Corps until December 29th.
The Salvation Army of Victoria warming shelter was open overnight. Officials tell us 14 clients spent the night in the shelter. The Salvation Army shelter and their main office at 1302 North Lewis Street opens when the chill factor is below freezing or when the surface temperature is below 35 degrees. If you see news happening, call our newsroom at 361-576-0026 or send us an email at staff@crossroadstoday.com. The Jackson County burn ban is over. Jackson County judges ended the ban this afternoon. The ban started on October 14th. That comes a day after Victoria and Goliad County ended their burn ban. So that's what happens when you get some rain for a change.
Beneficial rain, and
Yes.
it looks like we might even have some more on the way.
Yes, let's go to Mac Pettis for the first look at the forecast. More rain, maybe more sun too, a little more heat.
Well, we're going to get more clouds, yet it's going to be a little bit warmer. So today, we had the sunshine and it was nice, but over the next couple of hours, you see all this moisture, it's going to be rolling up on top of us. So we're going back to the cloud cover, and yes, we're going to get some light rain. In fact, on Thursday, we may be seeing some heavy rain with some thunder showers around here. We'll have all that coming up for you, coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Mike, thank you. Sources say a classified final report from the Pentagon Inspector General on Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's use of Signal has been sent to lawmakers, and a declassified redacted version is expected publicly on Thursday. The investigation completed in September stemmed from the Atlantic's reporting that Hegseth shared Signal information about sensitive U.S. military operations in Yemen. Sources say the Inspector General's office has been going back and forth with Hegseth on edits. That's a standard practice. The Senate Armed Services Committee's top Republican and Democrat ordered the review to see if Hegseth violated any laws.
The Trump administration is turning up the pressure over SNAP benefits. Officials say they will withhold food assistance money from Democratic-led states that will not hand over data on who's getting benefits. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins says the goal is to crack down on fraud, claiming some aid is going to people who have died or to individuals collecting in more than one state. Those states pushed back and sued, and for now, a judge has put the administration's order on hold. Cities nationwide are getting ready for possible new federal immigration actions, including a possible operation in Minnesota aimed at Somali communities. And in New Orleans, a ramp up of federal agents is adding to the uncertainty.
Sherelle Hubbard is hearing from residents who say they're trying to make sense of what may come next.
President Donald Trump didn't mince words when ending his cabinet meeting on Tuesday. He asserted he does not want Somali immigrants in the United States.
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country.
This comes as a federal official confirmed ICE is preparing a new operation in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul, targeting undocumented Somali immigrants.
The last thing that we need is federal agents coming here, pretending that we should be afraid of somebody just based on the color of their skin, just based on what they look like.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
Meanwhile, in New Orleans, dozens of residents marched in the rain Monday night to show their opposition to federal agents being deployed in their city. The Department of Homeland Security is preparing to deploy 250 agents in Louisiana this month as a part of an immigration enforcement operation called Swamp Sweep.
We know that ICE and Border Patrol are coming to our city, and no one's going to stop them except for the people united.
We don't support ICE coming in, coming to our campuses, coming to our community, coming to our cities, and saying, and taking our neighbors, our friends, our classmates.
New Orleans is the latest Democratic-led city targeted by a federal immigration enforcement crackdown. I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
President Trump administration officials raised their anti-immigration rhetoric after 2 National Guard members were shot in Washington, D.C. last week.
The president's remarks represent an escalation, particularly against Somalis in Minneapolis, following that shooting, even though the alleged shooter is an Afghan who had nothing to do with Somalia. The White House social media team is facing backlash from pop star Sabrina Carpenter after using her song Juno in a video showing apparent immigration arrests. Carpenter called the video evil and disgusting. The White House fired back with a statement quoting her own lyrics, saying they won't apologize. The video remains up on X and TikTok. Other artists, including Celine Dion, the Foo Fighters, Bruce Springsteen, and Beyonce, have also objected to their music being used by the Trump administration. If you miss any of our news, you can watch all of the newscasts and our local news coverage on the Crossroads Today YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe, hit the like button, and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, measles cases surge to the highest levels in years. Why the timing is concerning health experts.
Also ahead, how young is too young for a smartphone? New research reveals surprising risks for young children.
A spike in measles cases has health experts a little on edge as millions gear up for holiday travel. Dr. Rebecca Sonnenschein at Arizona State University says when people move from place to place, like we do this time of year, viruses tend to travel too, and that now includes measles. One of the highest counts has been reported to the CDC since the measles vaccine was introduced. Fewer people are getting vaccinated, but Dr. Sonnenschein says the MMR shot is still highly effective. 2 doses give about 98% protection.
So far this year, there have been nearly 1,800 confirmed cases of measles reported to CDC in the United States. That actually represents about 46 different outbreaks, which is triple the number that we saw in 2024. So we're seeing a lot more measles than we've seen before, and the outbreaks are lasting longer.
If you're traveling soon, she recommends getting vaccinated at least 2 weeks ahead. And while Canada recently lost its measles elimination status, she says the U.S. is still far from that point. Well, breastfeeding may offer important long-term health benefits for children, including some that researchers are only now beginning to understand.
With more on what new studies are revealing, here's ABC News' Alex Stone.
Researchers may have found another good reason for moms to breastfeed their babies. According to a South Korean study, when a child is breastfed exclusively, it can set the stage for better long-term health by preventing early puberty and lowering the chances of being overweight or obese. Early puberty has been associated with health problems such as diabetes, heart disease, and cancer later in life. Some studies suggest breastfeeding may offer some protection against those diseases. Experts say breastfeeding provides ideal nutrition and immune protection for your baby, and if you're able to do it, it can give a baby a healthy start in life. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months of life. Ask a lactation consultant for help if you need support getting your newborn the nutrition they need. With this Medical Minute, I'm Alex Stone.
How young is too young for a smartphone? A new pediatric study says children who get phones before age 12 face higher risks for depression, obesity, and poor sleep. And the younger they are, the greater the risk. Researchers analyzed data from a large adolescent brain development study. They are not setting a specific age, but they say parents should have careful, honest conversations about whether their child is ready for a phone. A tiny newborn in East Texas is defying the odds, and the journey that brought her here has captured the hearts of an entire hospital.
Ayana Aird shows us the emotional moments, the round-the-clock care, and the remarkable fight that turned one family's worst fear into a story of hope.
It was so scary because the doctor was like, I can't hear the heartbeat. The baby's not measuring what she's supposed to measure.
A terrifying comment for any mother to hear. Baby Addison weighed just 15 ounces, the tiniest baby ever cared for at UT Health East Texas.
Just smaller than a can of Coke, so it's very, very tiny. This was her diaper when she was born, and it probably was actually too big for her when she was first born because these only go to about a pound, and she was less than that.
The pregnancy was smooth until that 24-week checkup just days after the gender reveal. Doctors admitted Labrisha, hoping to keep Addison growing in the womb as long as possible.
After the third day, they was like, okay, we're delivering. It was just really scary.
Baby Addison was in the NICU for 6 months.
Who wants to leave their baby at the hospital and just go home?
The longest stay of any baby at UT Health East Texas. Nurses say it took around-the-clock high-level care.
She started out on a ventilator, and we had to feed her through a feeding tube. She had special IV lines that we gave her nutrients through.
Despite her size and challenges with development, feeding, and respiratory support, Addison proved to be a strong fighter.
And seeing her every day was one of those amazing things where you got to see her milestones almost like your own child.
My staff has grown so much in these 4 years, and they are the biggest factor that we have for getting these babies healthy.
But that progress came with one message from Labrisha.
Have patience, have faith. That's it.
After a long journey, the hospital celebrated with a parade from the NICU all the way to the exit.
I did not know that all the workers in the hospital almost would be out in the hallway. It was so sweet.
A reminder that even the tiniest can have the biggest wins.
Moms and dads that have babies in the NICU, they are also world champions in this battle.
She's a little fighter.
Definitely the best outcome possible. Well, to get more news, weather, and sports, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's 44 degrees, getting down there. We probably will hover at around 40, but this morning we were down to 37. For those of you that got up early and braced the cold, we managed to get up to only 58 today, so yes, it was cooler than normal. Tomorrow the clouds roll back in, and so does the rain. In fact, by Thursday we could have some big stuff. We'll talk about that coming up after this. Well, good evening, everybody. Today we had the brilliant sunshine. Tomorrow the clouds roll back in. In fact, you can see them right about here. What we're getting is, first of all, two things. At the low level, we're getting the southeast wind coming back. But in addition to that, we have the high level winds that are bringing up that moisture from the southern areas down there toward the Pacific. So combination of those two will give us a little bit of cloud cover and a chance for some drizzle, kind of light rain for Wednesday. Now Thursday things get even more interesting because the frontal system that you see up here is going to be diving down into our area, running into all that moisture. So we're going to have a relatively unstable atmosphere here on Thursday, which is going to give us a pretty good shot at getting maybe even a couple of thunder showers as that system passes through. We'll take a look at your overnight low temperatures, getting down to 44, 43 in the city and 40 down in Gonzales. No 30s, which is okay, but this morning it was cold enough for sure. Now, the high temperatures tomorrow will be 10 degrees warmer, yet we'll be in the cloud deck. So we'll get to 68, 64 expected up in the Hallettsville area, right about there, and 68 down in Goliad. So a little milder weather. I wanted to show you the big picture because these are the temperatures across the country. And you can see how everybody is dealing with winter right about now. While we're going to be in the 40s, which is right now, this is current temperatures. I'm sorry, this is the future temperatures. You can see how by tomorrow, we're going to see the temperatures still be on the chilly side. I wanted really to point this out. See this purple stuff? That's the 0 degree line. And you can see how some upper Midwesterners are already dealing with temperatures in the single digits right about there. That would be tomorrow, Wednesday night. And so, yeah, it's beginning to feel a lot like December. Any minute now, some of that could break out and head south. So we're going to have to just watch it very carefully. Now, here's today, here's the sunshine. Here's tomorrow. You can see how the Gulf air rolls back in and gives us the little rain. You also see the storm developing in the Rockies. Well, that storm is going to dive down and sort of enhance our rain chance down here. It's also going to be bringing some snow flurry activity as far south as Lubbock. I don't know, is anybody going back to Lubbock? Looks like eastern New Mexico will have snow, as will much of the panhandle right there. Then that system sort of hangs around for Friday, but by Saturday it pulls away and things do sort of settle out just in time as we get to the weekend. So overall, as we get to the weekend, things are looking fairly quiet, but the rain sort of begins tomorrow. Overcast skies with a little sprinkle and light rain here, getting up to about 70 degrees. In Cuero, pretty much same forecast, getting up to about 63 because of a little cooler weather up there. And here's a 7-day. Now, the light rain is Wednesday. Thursday is a chance we get the isolated thunder showers. Now, this will be thunder and lightning, so we'll get ready for that. Then it sort of hangs on into Friday morning before it clears out. But look at this. Saturday, Sunday seems to be like it's going to be very nice with the high temperatures in the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Toss it over to Ray Ray with sports, and it's much nicer doing basketball indoors, isn't it, Ray Ray?
That's right, Mac. It's most certainly an honor to be inside. Victoria West St. Joseph brought the heat in tonight for the city of Victoria. Tune in for some fast-paced hoops coming up in your sports. Basketball season for the Crossroads is officially underway. This Tuesday night, the city of Victoria was buzzing with the high school hoops featuring all three of your schools in action. Tonight, two teams emerged victorious. Let's start off at the Flyer Dome, where St. Joseph hosted the Louise Hornets. It was a night full of fast breaks and impressive three-point shooting as St. Joe took control and dominated against Louise. Here's junior Charlie Stefka driving inside and finishing strong with an easy layup. The Flyers made this fast break look easy like a Sunday stroll, as Jace Varquez makes on this play. Everything kept falling for the Flyers, as they should. Scoring like that was the story all game long as St. Joseph cruised to a dominant victory with the final score of 70-8. Tomorrow, the Flyers will take on St. Anthony on the road in San Antonio. And the dominance carried all the way over to Victoria West High School as they hosted Gregory Portland. West looked flashy on offense and strong on defense. Eric Martinez make a key steal and found Brandon Currie for a highlight reel layup. The Warriors' presence inside was certainly felt thanks to their size and athleticism. Matt Catan led the way with 13 points tonight, guiding the Warriors to a 53-31 victory. Next up, West will face Northern Christian in a tournament this Thursday. But the same couldn't be said for Victoria East as they took on Cornerstone Christian tonight, and the Titans unfortunately fall to them. Final score, 61-40. And the Ganado Indians are dominating their district, and the district awards reflect the outstanding talent on their team. Senior Austin Pena was named district MVP, while Landon Arriaga took home Offensive Player of the Year with first team All-District Defense honors. And Logan Smokey Burris earned District Defensive Player of the Year as well as first team All-Offense recognition. John Utley was awarded the Utility Player of the Year. Sean Willis, Cade Nixon, Tyler Henderson, Jack Hurt all earned spots on the first team for both defense and offense. Big congratulations to the Indians on a fantastic season. And the Spurs took on the Memphis Grizzlies in a close battle, this game missing both of their stars with Memphis and Ja Morant and the Spurs and Victor Wembanyama. But despite that, it was still a close and fun game with the Spurs edging them out. Final score, 126 to 119. Harrison Barnes led the game with 31 points. And as Texas Tech prepare for their Big 12 championship matchup against BYU, they do know that they'll have their head coach for the next several years. Today it was announced that head coach Joey McGuire has signed a 7-year extension. The deal averages about $7 million per year. Many say this extension is well-deserved. McGuire led the Red Raiders to an 11-1 regular season record and ranking as the number 5 team in all of college football. So it seems like a great time to be a Texas Tech fan. But that does it for your sports. Don?
All right, Ray, thank you, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. And someone really trashed a Virginia liquor store and got completely wasted. The suspect that proves crime does not pay.
Stay up or we're going to do this without you. Truth Social is the best. There is nothing even close. I don't know. I still think chlamydia is better, but that's just me.
The trash panda is living up to its name and, well, getting trashed. Listen to this story out of Virginia. Officers were called to a liquor store in Hanover County after the place was found ransacked, liquor bottles strewn about, and the masked suspect passed out on the bathroom floor. That suspect? A very drunk raccoon. An officer was able to get him to an animal shelter where he was checked out for injuries and given a chance to sleep off his libations. He was then released back into the wild. So hopefully he learned his lesson the first time.
I've heard of drunk as a skunk, but not drunk as a raccoon. Wow. Did they make him walk a line or something to see if he was like,
DUI for him, I guess?
And he thought that they would recognize him with a mask on.
That's right. He got the mask so that
They'll never find me.
They won't know who it was.
We don't know who that was. In the pictures, you know, he was wearing a mask.
Probably thirsty, but he picked the wrong bottle there. Folks, we're looking for the return of the cloud cover and a little drizzle tomorrow, and then the rain gets heavier on Thursday, Friday, and then hopefully with a little luck we'll be in the clear as we get to the coming weekend.
Thank you, Mac. This one's up your alley.
Okay.
In northeast Missouri, a giant snowman is literally stopping traffic. Meet Bob. He's 17 feet tall with a 27-foot waistline. A family in Kirksville, along with a bunch of neighbors, spent almost 3 hours rolling huge snowballs, filling in the gaps, and stacking everything with ladders and even a truck. They crowned him with a 50-gallon trash can for a hat. The family says building giant snowmen is a long-running tradition, and they try to make each one bigger than the last. And I guess
the nose even looked like a wooden stake instead of a carrot.
Yeah.
I think a carrot would be.
It makes sense. It makes sense. It was built in Missouri, the Show Me state. Show me the tallest snowman you can build.
And
there it is.
It's in the yard. There you go.
Yeah. But you need that kind of snowfall to be able to build.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even a small size snowman.
And we don't want that, please.
No.
Not that much.
Not that much. No.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight.
25 News Now, sunrise at 5 a.m. Jimmy Kimmel Live starts now.